Hello guys, welcome for Friday recap for November 17, 2023. So another episode of Ripster daily recap and daily teachings. So Friday was amazing, guys. Friday was just crazy. So really good. Most of the players from the watch list really worked out. So we'll talk about a bunch of those. We'll review the long on AMAT, long on GPS, big winner, big lotto winner for us, PANW. Then we'll talk about ROST winner, and we'll talk about few of the marketplace, how we nailed Tesla short. Everybody made big money right at open on Tesla short. I was on the voice. And then the Tesla long. And then we'll discuss how my pre-market levels, the pivots, and the notes I give really helped everybody to execute the marketplace today. So let's start, guys. Yeah. So as always today, guys, I was up early, 45 minutes before the market open, sharing with everyone. We do a wake-up summary, just to look at what the market is doing, geopolitical, what's happening in China, and macro futures, everything. So we wrap it up as a future, as a wake up summary, so we're ready for the day. So then I go through bunch of pre-market news, pre-market news 1, I go through pre-market news 2, and then I go through pre-market news 3. So I provide all the movers, all the news, all the main stocks, so I can get my final watch list that you see here. So we do that every day. I cover that in one of my webinars called pre-market prep webinar. So I do that. So not only that, I create these levels. So this is what I'm going to discuss right now. So if you see, I create the levels, I create these nodes on SPY and all the marketplace, the plays we play every day, the FANGs, the blue chips. So if you see the few noteworthy plays from there, what today was Tesla. I told everybody pre-market notes, Tesla is a gap fill short under 230. Similarly, we were talking about Microsoft and Apple. So they were on a trend line. They were under the clouds on pre-market. So support pivot breaks, you short. So a lot of the traders and the community take these levels and my notes, and they execute themselves, right? So yeah. So today the levels were spot on yet again. If the price stays in the levels, that's the chop. You don't do anything. If price breaks down or goes over those levels, then you take the long or short position as per my teachings or my EMA Cloud Systems. So guys, these were the levels, and after doing the levels, then we talk about, let's look at here. So then I make a plan for each play for the today AMAT. You can see the plan for AMAT, BJ, GPS, ROST, BABA, Walmart and Cisco day 2, PANW day 2, LI day 2. And then I'll show you how each of those panned out today. So we'll talk. Okay, let's start with the first play of the day. So let's start with the first one we're going to discuss, guys, was a Tesla. So I was on the voice. I already gave everyone the pre-market prep. So I gave the pre-market prep on the Tesla that we have a gap fill. So we have a gap fill. What does that mean? Gap fill means if we get the gap down, we will short it. So let's look at it. Let's go back, go and check. Let's see. All right. So you see, as soon as the market open, what do I say? Scalp short on bounces in the gap, 230 fails. And I gave my target 226.30. So right in the first 2 minutes, I talk about the short and then I give my target. Yeah, and guess what? In next 20 minutes, I was short 20 cents of my target. We were close, but that's fine. We were already locking our profits because it was a big move from 230 to 226. The options moved decent. So the Tesla was working, going towards our target, and then you close. Then you close half. It's pushing you close more. You keep a 1/3 your position, but when it reclaims the support. So that's what I said. The support that originally broke and gave us the downtrend short, if it's reclaimed right away, if it's reclaimed, then it's reclaiming the bullish pivot, and that's when you are thinking about covering your short or going long. And let me show you. So we already made money on the short, and when it reclaimed the pivot, we were out of our short, right? The first move, the first trade. I teach every day. The first trade is amateur trade, and then we look for the trend trade. So the trend that came later was a bullish trend. If you were shorting, if you were short here and you held your short, you probably got squeezed out and lost. Because if you were short, you should exit your short and get long, right? So let's see what I said. So I said cover the Tesla. I said at 9:40 that we covered this Tesla, and then 227.5 orders moved 100%. So, we hit our targets. And then I said, unless we get over the yesterday lows, we are still bearish. So yesterday lows is this, pre-market lows is this. Unless we get over that, we are bearish. If we get over that, then we get bullish, right? So then my next comments was Tesla reclaimed yesterday's low, that is 230, 231. It's a B minus bounce, confirm reversal over 34.50. And then Win was long. He gave his long versus 229. He saw the same thing, that it's reclaiming. And then I saw the same thing, that's holding. Then I gave the risk levels. And then boom, it's over 34.50. Here you go. So from B minus to B plus, over 512 clouds, Ripster cloud system, and over 34.50 system. And boom, here it goes, right? So you see, so you short in the morning from 230s to 226s. Then you long, even if you longed at 231s, it went to 237, right? So another 4 times reward. So that's what we do in our community, right? So I did say, look here, I said holding trend, 234, hold a bit, hold it, hold it. And then we pushed. And then finally, when we were taking all our profits all the way, then I said once 512 breaks, that's when you take your profit. And I said 235 breaks, get out completely. And guess what? It broke the 235s and then it pulled back to 233s. So you can see the kind of the guidance that we killed it today. So a repeatable system, right? If I was just short, or if I was just, let's say if I was long at open and then I lost, right? If I was short after the bounce, then I lost because I'm trading randomly. I don't have a system. I'm not following my system. My system lets me trade how I want. My system lets me long when it's a long. It lets me short when it's a short. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. So that's what you have to follow. So let's talk about AMAT, right? So AMAT, the point was we were bearish. What was the plan pre-market? The pre-market plan was if 1442.80 breaks this level, then we'll confirm the downside with upside resistance of 145. If they swipe back, be cautious for B minus bounce, let the cards declare. So as you see, my complete plan was laid out in the pre-market, right? We were ready for either side. We don't know what it's going to show us. And once it shows us something, it does that for the rest of the day. So if you see, it was already fading it kind of spoiled the gap down setup because it broke the level pre-market. It broke the level pre-market, and then right at open is right swiped right up. So that very moment I know it's over EMA Clouds, we need to have a bullish bias, right? If I go to a smaller time frame, if I show you, if I go to, let's say we go to 2 minutes, right? So what happened? The first minute swipe right back up, and then it pulling back. 935s is pulling back. So that's where I say long scalps with a risk of 142, which becomes too wide. Then other risk is 144. So 144 right here. So and it pushed, right? So from there, long buys, it pushed from 145 46s all the way to 148, and rest of the day to 148.58. So it almost pushed from where we were adding a $3 from 145.80s to 148.70s, $3. So you're risking $2, pay $3, $5 risk reward, and that's a good trade. If you had options, that's separate. So you see, we were not trying to short it. You can see my guidance here on the all time stamped guidance. We were not trying to short it. because when the system tells us we have to long, we long, no question asked. If we lose on the one side, we close the loser quick, we change the bias, we long, and we make money going with a different bias. So always change your bias, guys. All right, let's go to the next one. So guys, GPS, this one's so nice, so good for especially for our small account traders. I mean, such a beautiful move, and it was perfect setup. So my plan was I was bullish neutral versus the cloud. As soon as the market opened, I said GPS, and I was on the voice. I said it's a long, right? What you see on my comments is like 1/3 of what I'm saying and what I'm talking about, and it's usually reflected in my comments here. So I was bullish neutral versus the cloud. As soon as it broke out of the pre-market highs, I knew it's a long. It's making higher high in the smaller time frame, and it was a 52 breakout. So I said 52 breakout. It's a long. My target was 786, 1844. So I missed my 1844 targets by 20 cents, but it was still a decent move from 1691 to 184. Even if you look at here, but I called off long right here. So you risk here this area and then you long it. And some of the options went 600, 700%. You see this option here on GPS on I think it was a 1750 option. So that literally went from 15 cents to 70 cents. So if you put if you put $500 worth of the lot of options, that bet 5 times for you almost. So you made 2 grand. So that was our GPS play. Let's move to the next one. So guys, important thing to learn here is when there's a big mover, earning mover a day prior, you should have it on your watch list for the day 2. These are what I call day 2 setups. What was the day 2 setup? So PANW, you can clearly see I'm saying it's a day 2 setup. And this was the setup, guys. This right here, what you see was a setup. If you remember yesterday's video, I talked about it. If somebody who watched my video should have nailed this long here. So day 2 watch over the cloud, next leg here, on the voice, I told people the 250 is a good idea. And the 250 Lotto also worked out. And you can see on the floor, everybody was green today. If I show you, so green, 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 green. Everybody was green, man. It was so good because there were so many setups which were giving us follow through, right? So you can see, Drew was down. Drew might comment here as well. He's so good. He nailed that. So as you see, PANW, breaks out of here. You add Lotto, just add Lotto. Goes to 0, that's fine. Or add a starter. It went from this 245 breakout all the way to 250. So that was a $4 move. You risked $2.50 and then you made double of it. So 2 reward for 1 risk. And if you were options trading, yeah, options went 100%, right? So double the risk. So yeah, very proud of this one. These kind of trades only we get on Fridays. So that's how we were all green there. So let's look at our next one, guys. This one also. So you first watch, right? So you first watch the price action, first 2 minutes, what's they going to do? So they try to break out, they pull back. Because if I'm adding here, I'm in danger of this area breaking down, and then you see my price alerts are here, you see them, because they were for the gap fill. So there's a big gap fill. And now some shorts, they try to short it thinking it's too high, too high, too high. But you see the system is telling us that it's over the clouds, it's bullish. But an amateur short will short it thinking it came from 119 to 126. Oh, it has to pull back. No, it does not. Right? So the ideal play here was, like I said, range bound. I said 126.60. That was the risk basically. The stops. I gave the stop and then I gave the breakout. So this was the range. So you add a starter here, just like a play yesterday we did. Then over the breakout you can add. That's what I said. Breaking out, add into the position. This is what I said right here. And it went from that to 131. So So from 128 average, it went to 131. Nice trade into 10 a.m. And then finally, when it's breaking 512s, you get out. So, you know, it's fixed risk. I mean, you just have the fixed risk. You know your risk. You know, go, if you're in my community, go watch my risk management webinar. You have a clear risk. I'm showing you the same thing, guys, on my hundreds of trade every day. Rinse, repeat, same thing again and again. Defined risk. You know, if even if I bought here, right? Let's say I buy here 182.86. I have $2 risk, right? I still made almost $2. Even though that's not good risk reward, but it would never be a red trade because I take half off and put the stops on the rest, or put the stops here. It'll be a green trade. So that's about it, guys. That is what you need to do again and again. Repeat, repeat, repeat. So let's see. We tried a little bit on Cisco on a day 2 as well. So my plan, you know, again, so the plan was simple on Cisco, right? If it holds this trend, it pushes higher, and then our lotos can kind of work, right? So initially it was the day 2. Initially it was pushing, right? It was decent, like decent push from the EMA Clouds. Day 2, this level was breaking out, you know, yesterday's, and it was working. I had small lotos, but it was 100% risk. And then I was thinking, you know, maybe we push to 48.60 or something. But then after pushing to 48.40, it came back, and I was out of my lotos. I just, small lotos, 100% loss, that's fine. You know, I was out of them because it pulled back. I didn't see any risk reward later, so I didn't touch it. But it clearly faded back. And anyways, you were supposed to get out right when this was not working, or maybe right here. You're supposed to get out, so you avoided this trend line fade, right? So yeah, Cisco, calling it a scratch trade. So let's move to the next one. So guys, this one is just, I'm gonna discuss a few of my, you know, swings. So EXP, as everybody knows, I gave this swing. If let me show you, you know, let me just show you. So let's look here. So what was EXPE doing, right? So EXP, when did I give this idea? When did I give this trade, right? And this is what I'm going to discuss in a lot of my swing webinar that's coming up. You should join if you're not. It will help you a lot of the swing. So I was giving this gap trade on the swing at 112s, and then we fill the gap, we take some off here, and when the gap resistance breaks out, then you hold. Then your next target is 122. You scale out more, and then when that breakouts, maybe you add into the position, or you leave 1/3 as long as the trend holds. So EXP, if you look at EXP, the trend on EXP, it never really gave you a reason to cut it, right? So it never really gave you a reason to cut it because it held the trend, right? So if you want to look at, let's see if I want to look at, I want to show you the 1 hour chart without the, if I show you 1 hour charts, one extended chart, extended play, you see it always held the 3450 EMA. So you can use it either way, but sometimes on your swings you might get chopped out. So it had that trend, right? If you don't use it, then I talk about some of my other EMAs that you can use. Let's see if we can show you. So I will discuss those as well on my webinars, that you can use to hold your winners long term, you know, the swings. So anyways, guys, so that was the one of the swing that worked out beautifully. I just showed you before and after on that swing, how I gave it at 112. And let's look at some more. So let's look at, guys, I personally didn't do much today on SPY QQQ, but in our community people were killing it on SPX. If you see, we have this option flow room where we just focus on, you can see, we just focus on our flow and SPX and SPY. And you know, yeah, Kira, she did good. I usually don't let people post PNLs, but that's fine. Very hard worker trader, really did good there. So we talk about those flows and all that. I had a good morning, so I was taking it easy, but you can clearly see this reversal over 512 EMA Clouds that you could have ridden from a B- to B+ bounce. Same was for QQQ, and then you can watch the flow, right? So in our community, we watch the flow. If the puts are being sold, calls are being bought, or if the puts are being bought, you know, either way, we know the institution are trying to bounce it, and you can bounce it. and then you can see for the fade as well. So we trade SPY, QQ, SPX all day in the room. I personally didn't do anything on there, but just wanted to show. So sideways day, market is still bullish. Small week tomorrow, next week, 3.5 days. So we will be trading for 3 days fully, and let's see what market gives. All right, guys, have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Join community if you want to be part of the best community ever. We're probably coming up with our discounts for the holiday weekend. So if you want to come, join, come for education, don't come for buy sell alerts. I'm not there for that, but I will make sure you don't lose money. You will learn consistent setups, and you'll get the best education possible so that you can find your own conviction. All right, guys, later. Bye.